Welcome to the Tez Down. It's your boy Tez. I'm here, and I'm happy to be here with you on another episode of True Crime Monday. It is episode 6. I know it doesn't say that in the title, but it's episode 6 of True Crime Monday. I'm glad to have you here today. Today, we're going to dive straight into it. No prelude. We're going to dive straight into it, guys. We got a story about some weirdo and his weirdo mother, and then we got a live case of body cam footage where a guy has a victim, and we're going to watch that. We're going to also do a random story time of the day and chat Q&A. Who knows? We might even have time for some of the shows from over the weekend. So I want you guys to get ready. Grab your popcorn if you want to. We're going to make fun of some people today. We definitely are. We're going to do a little bit of Ullian because we need to. And we're going to watch this story together, and we're going to dive inside the mind of a serial rapist. Okay, let's see what's wrong with these sickos. Let's do it right now.
Here, we're obviously going to place you under arrest. There's a warrant for your arrest. We're going to take you to the jail. I told your mom that she can contact a bondsman.
A tearful teen is taken into custody after committing brutal crimes against girls he dated. He may look meek in police body camera footage, but police say he assaulted, raped, and even strangled fellow teenagers. And a surprise sweetheart deal took his prison term from a possible 70 years down to 0. We're taking a closer look at how the teen and his mom reacted to police taking him into custody. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Hey, before we get into this episode of On the Case, I want to talk about our partner and sponsor, Upside. This is a free app that gives you cash back when you buy daily essentials like gas and groceries. Name and face are now known across the country, and it's not for good reason. In August, 18-year-old Jesse Mack Butler of Stillwater, Oklahoma, entered a no-contest plea to 11 heinous charges, including rape, attempted forced oral sodomy, and more. He was staring down a nearly 80-year prison sentence, but in a shocking twist, the court agreed to grant Butler youthful offender status, and instead of going to prison, Butler went home with instructions on how to complete counseling and community service requirements. Butler's exact treatment plan, it's sealed in the court record, but the district attorney's office released this statement, quote, "The youthful offender sentence imposed against Jesse Butler requires him to complete his rehabilitation plan successfully, including an aggressive schedule of therapy with a specialist in sex offender treatment, and should he fail, he faces reclassification as an adult and a sentence of 10 years in prison." The change in punishment sent shockwaves through the community. It devastated the two girls who had gone to school officials to report what Butler had done to them. A mom of one of the victims told the outlet Tulsa World that the families were completely against youthful offender status from the beginning and said that it was their understanding that the prosecutor trying this case would not accept a deal like that. Photos have been released showing one of the victims in the hospital after apparently repeated assaults by Butler. The victim's family says she ended up needing surgery because of severe damage to a vein in her neck. There are calls for the judge who approved Butler's deal, Special Judge Susan Worthington, to be reprimanded or removed for okaying this deal. Now, in just a moment, I'll talk to a judge who has advocated for youthful offender programs to discuss whether this one is a step too far. But first, I want to let you know what 2 official affidavits have to say about Butler's behavior and how he reacted when he found out he'd actually be taken into custody. According to the first affidavit, a 16-year-old identified by her initials LS told a school resource officer in September of 2024 that she dated Jesse Butler for a few months earlier in the year, and that during that time, he physically and sexually assaulted her multiple times, including trying to rape her inside his car outside an ice cream shop the previous February. The affidavit reads, quote, "LS reported she yelled and told him no repeatedly and tried to push him off of her, but was unable to overpower him. LS reported Butler told her he was sorry for what he had to do, but he had to do it. LS recalled hyperventilating because Butler intended to have sexual intercourse with her and she did not want to. According to LS, a woman must have heard her screaming because she walked up to the car and interrupted them. LS told police that Butler told her that if the police came, they would both be in trouble. He reportedly took her back to his home where her car was parked and tried to rape her again. The affidavit reads, quote, "LS told Butler she needed to get home, but Butler pulled her on top of him and told her, 'You're not going until I'm finished.'" She said she was able to get away and go home, but this wasn't the only time that an adult may have witnessed Butler trying to assault LS. The teen says that she was at the Butler home in their movie room when Butler took his clothes off and tried to have sex with her. She says Butler's mom came to the door asking if everything was okay, but the affidavit doesn't say anything else about her reaction to what she might have seen or heard. In late February of 2024, Butler reportedly strangled her because she refused to have sex with him. The affidavit says, quote, "LS reported she was hyperventilating and then recalled her vision being blurry and she was dizzy. She reported her head immediately hurt and she was confused about what had occurred. She was scared of Butler, but when she regained consciousness, Butler was laughing at her. Following this incident, LS reported she had a handprint and an injury on her neck. Butler and LS apparently broke up in March 2024, and he started dating a girl identified as KS, and his disturbing and aggressive behavior allegedly continued. A second affidavit details the assaults KS says she suffered during the relationship. Quote, KS reported Butler had left bruises on her hips from squeezing her so tightly. KS reported the intercourse was extremely aggressive, but she reported she quickly stopped fighting it because Butler would overpower her and hurt her to get his way. KS explained that she learned what to and what not to do to avoid being hurt by Butler. According to KS, Butler would pin her down and she was physically unable to get him off of her. KS stated this would often lead her to hyperventilate, which Butler thought was funny. According to the affidavit, Butler also strangled KS so long that she eventually passed out. She reported she woke up on the floor of the...
See, this type of stuff that I'm talking about, like his mother facilitated all of this. His mother facilitated all of this. In the meantime, y'all hit the like button. Go ahead, engage with me. Bring it up. Come on, help me out. I would love to see what you guys got to say about, the episode for today. But so far, this has been terrible, man. Like, what's going on with this guy? And then why is his mother allowing this to happen? That's my main question. Why is his mother allowing this to happen? Like, his mother comes in there and she just starts talking like it's nobody's business that this is happening. And, oh, is everything okay? What? You see what your son's doing, right? See, there's a thing, right? You should be, I totally understand giving your kids autonomy to do what they want to do at that age and to explore and to do all. I totally understand that. I think that a lot of parents are way too strict, but I totally understand giving them a little bit of, a leeway. But if you see that happening or anything close to it, yeah, if they were kissing with their clothes on, who cares? You know what I'm saying? But you're talking about loud, aggressive wall banging. You should not be having loud, aggressive wall banging while your parents are home. No, that's way too comfortable. And then the mother hears it and goes, is everything okay? Shut up, lady. Shut up. Right. Freaky, nasty, creepy little boy. Exactly. What's he on? Plug. Thank you, man. Thank you. Y'all shout out to Uncle Plug. I see I got some people in here watching. How are y'all doing? Make sure you guys hit the like button. True Crime Monday seems to be the show that everybody likes to show up to, and I appreciate you guys for showing up, but thank you for that. Uncle Plug, why you gonna tell me all these people was in here watching? All right, y'all go ahead and hit the like button or something, comment. Let me know what y'all got going on while we continue our story. Much appreciated. Thank y'all for popping in today. I really do appreciate when this happens. So thank you so much.
Living room in a home where she was house sitting. She claims Butler was livid that she wouldn't have sex with him in someone else's home, so she says he raped her instead. Later that same week, KS reported that Butler choked her again, and it's for a sick reason. The affidavit says, quote, KS stated Butler told her he wanted to strangle her so he could film it on his phone. And if you can believe it, police found that video on Butler's phone, which showed him choking KS until she passed out. Butler was...
Like, we're talking about a guy that's got multiple compound issues. Okay, and the funny thing is they want to show him in his school baseball uniform like he's just some upstanding citizen, like he's some type of a superstar. He ain't no superstar. He ain't no upstanding citizen. This dude is a menace. This dude is a clown. This dude is a jerk. This dude is all those things that we don't want to have in our society. And his mother was protecting him this entire time. This is ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous. I hate this.
Charged in March 2025 with 10 counts. An 11th was eventually tacked on when he reportedly violated a protective order. And we got our hands on body camera footage from Stillwater Police that shows officers arriving at the Butler home and taking the teary-eyed young man into custody.
Look at this ugly piece of garbage. Look at him. Look at how he looks. Look at what he's doing. What's up, Conversation Soft Rain? Thanks for stopping in. So far, we're over here roasting this fat glob that's over here abusing people for no reason. We in here. Chat 333, y'all is deep as usual. It is nice to see y'all in here right now. What is that? 124? Okay, I like that number right there. Let's keep it running. Let's go.
We're ready to honestly tell our
I see him arrest this.
Yeah. Jess, it's Mom. Open the door. It's me. And if you'll just have him step out. Okay. Give me your wallet and phone and stuff. So, okay.
Yeah.
Your what?
Phone.
They're in the car. Well, okay, it's fine. It's not locked or anything, is it? Okay. So,
Can you tell him what you just told me, or?
Yeah, so we're here. We're obviously going to place you under arrest. There's a warrant for your arrest.
Obviously.
We're going to take you to the jail. I told your mom that she can contact a bondsman, and you shouldn't be there very long, but there just is a process for paperwork and stuff.
Hold on, let's point out some real horrible inconsistencies right here. I ain't never in my life seen them arrest a black man this way. When he did something that was heinous, when there was a warrant for his arrest, they be busting down doors, ripping people out of cars. Like, traffic stops are more aggressive than this. This is some bullshit. This dude is out here hurting people. Y'all got it, video evidence. There's no allegedly in this. There's video of this. There's complaints. There's all types of stuff that's going on. Y'all let him get away this whole time. This whole time y'all let him get away. And then when you come up there, you're going to treat him like it's a routine visit? What? What? Y'all can't tell me that this man wasn't a little bit more brown that he wouldn't have been treated. They would have been busting in the crib, throwing him on the ground, tossing him in cuffs, not letting him pull stuff out of his pockets and hand stuff to his mom. Come on now. Are we being for real, or are we being for real? Are we being for real, or are we being for real? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Soft Friend. Thank you for saying it out loud. Thank you for somebody standing up and keeping it 100. This is crazy. This is madness. So I know a lot of you guys are watching because of the picture and the title and the people that I mentioned in the captions of this show, as well as the links to the videos that we already have in here. I know that, and I know you guys aren't going to say anything. But please, while you're watching, make sure that you realize how heinous and disgusting that this is. Just like, I'm not saying to brutalize anybody, but come on now. This is not how they treat. If this was a kid of mine, you think they're gonna treat my kid like this? Let's listen to this more of this garbage. Let's go and rehash on what we're talking about. Rehash. Look how this arrest is taking place. Look at this.
Yeah, so we're here. We're obviously going to place you under arrest. There's a warrant for your arrest. We're going to take you to the jail. I told your mom that she can contact a bondsman, and you shouldn't be there very long, but there just is a process for paperwork and stuff. But right now you do have to come with us, and I do have to put you in handcuffs. So turn around for me.
I do have to put you in handcuffs. Shut up.
You know what it is. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll get you out. Okay? All right. Stay silent. Rick knows about this. Candy's on this. Dad's on his way. We're coming to get you, okay? Just stay strong, okay? Say your prayers.
She over there giving him.
Okay,
giving
so
him
we
a pep
will.
talk.
He's going to go right to the City of Stillwater Jail, and if you'll just contact her, then she does this all the time. She knows what to do.
Yeah.
Make sure
Okay.
she knows Stillwater Police Department, not county.
Stillwater Police Department
Yeah.
on Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them know that we're the ones.
Because they're obviously
And we'll
rich.
say we are
Stillwater PD.
Stillwater PD.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way they don't think he went like straight over and he's over at the county.
And they know what the warrant was for. They have all the evidence they need on this dude.
Spread your feet for me.
Butler was released on a $25,000 bond. When he entered his no contest plea over the summer, the mom of LS shared her victim impact statement online, and it says in part, quote, "I've had to carry this weight while going to school, trying to act like I'm
I'm gonna read it myself, okay? I'm gonna read it myself. She said, "I've had to carry this weight while going to school, trying to act like I'm okay. I've woken up from nightmares that make me feel like I'm being attacked all over again. I've had to explain the bruises, explain the silence, explain why I started isolating from people who love me. You didn't just strangle me with your hands. You strangled me with my voice, my joy, my ability to feel safe in my own body. And no one should take that from someone else. And yet they're here treating him as if he's done, just a minor inconvenience. $25,000 bond. $25,000 usually is 10% to apply in the United States. That means that for $2,500, they got him out. He didn't do a night. He didn't do 24 hours for what he's done. They processed him out quick. This is disgusting.
okay. I've woken up from nightmares. You strangled me unconscious because I said no. The moment changed my life. A medical professional later told me that I was just 30 seconds away from dying. 30 seconds. If you had just kept your hands on my neck just a little longer, I wouldn't be standing here today. That wasn't just a scare. It was a near-death experience. You didn't just hurt me, you nearly killed me. LS also addressed Butler's mom and dad in her statement saying, quote, to Jesse's parents, I don't know what you know. I don't know if you heard me crying through the walls or noticed how your son treated me when no one was looking, but I hope you hear this now. Your son hurt me in ways that cannot be undone, and I need you to understand that your silence, your protection of him, or even your denial, that would hurt too, because someone should have stopped this. Someone should have seen the bruises and the fear. My colleague, Law and Crime's Jesse Weber, recently sat down with Justin Shepard, known on social media as Just in the Nick of Crime, who did some of the first reporting on this story and spoke with people in Stillwater.
What have you learned here about how this is even possible? Because I will tell you, there is a lot of speculation online right now that the Butler family may have connections that may have helped him get this so-called sweetheart deal. We couldn't confirm that. What can you tell us?
So I've spoken with some of the families as well of both victims who came forward against Jesse. There is a third victim who, she hasn't come forward, but can you blame her when you look at this as the justice that they get? So there's a third victim. And kind of like you said, the speculation is that Jesse Mack Butler's father is a man by the name of Mack Butler. And he was the head of football operations at OSU for, I forget how many years, but for a pretty long time. He's, kind of a staple in that community. And when we're talking about Stillwater, Oklahoma, we're talking about OSU. For people who don't know, Stillwater is the town that Oklahoma State University is in. So there's a lot of things tied to that. Mack Butler, it seems that he grew up there. His wife currently works for OSU. His daughter works for the public school system there. He was apparently had been hired as like a coach of some kind for Stillwater High School as well. So somebody with deep-rooted ties into the community, and that then leads you to the judge in this case, or one of the judges in this case, Judge Susan Worthington. Between her and her father, the Worthingtons have had a hold on that bench for over 50 years. So while you can't necessarily say definitively that, hey, there's this connection here because he's deep-rooted in football, she's a judge, they all grew up in the same town, that there's this kind of connection, but it's not really many difficult mental gymnastics to make that leap, right? That, hey, this is a town that requires the college, needs the college to survive. It's very deep rooted into the system, that they're very much supportive of OSU for this whole kind of thing to be very close knit. And that's kind of what's being speculated, to the point that even it's now gotten the attention of one of Oklahoma's lawmakers, Representative J.J. Humphrey, who's also running for lieutenant governor. I'm actually going to be speaking with him later tonight, a little bit more details, but
and if you can, I don't know if you spoke with him already, but Representative Humphrey is talking, my understanding is about a potential investigation into this. Is this true? Is there going to be a formal investigation into what happened here?
It sounds that way, yeah. He kind of looks at it from the same way. He was telling me that he's got a lot of background, in the court system and investigation before he got into politics. And he said, basically kind of the same thing that we were just talking about, that can he say definitively, or can he prove right now that there's a connection? No, but his exact words, but it sure as hell smacks like it, And so he's like, it's worth an investigation. So he's thinking about, wanting to put a grand jury together to do an indictment, possibly, the conversation we had, which we'll go a little more in depth in, I don't know if that could bring additional charges against Jesse, because when you look again at the litany of charges, there are some that should have been on there that weren't. Like, in my opinion, as not a lawyer, why he wasn't charged with attempted murder when one of the girls was near death for what he did. And so those are kind of the conversations. But he feels that not just Stillwater, that entire county, Tane County, and then other places in Oklahoma, there's a lot of, he said it flat out, there's corruption, and he believes that this is no different than that. And it merits an investigation.
Joining us now to talk more about this case is Judge Brandon Birmingham from Dallas, Texas. Thank you, sir, for being with us here.
So the investigator that's been putting out this has a lot of information that is actually very pertinent to this case. They did not charge this guy. This is already over and done with, and we're only in the first week of November, and we're finding out everything that's going on here. What does the judge have to say about this? Like, this is how real outrage is created.
On Law and Crime. In this case, there's youthful offender status, which is what the defendant received in this case. Just first explain, I know this is something that you know well about in your district where you work as a judge. What is youthful offender status?
It is a status that's assigned really to those that are juveniles or on the cusp of being a juvenile, where the punishment for certain crimes is lesser than it would be for an adult. And they have certain programs, certain conditions under the law that the judge can order somebody to go through, and it's a little different for those that are younger than it is for adults.
How does that compare to, because in this case, the defendant was 18 years old at the time that this deal was reached, but it's not a situation where maybe he was 15 years old or 14 where this would be a juvenile case. How does the youthful offender status compare to what you might see in a juvenile case?
It's just a function of punishment. I think
so
there's the idea in assessing punishment.
So once again, we're talking about somebody that's 17 years old, that was turning 18 years old, getting charged as a youth offender when they have been charging people of color in this country as grown men as early as the age of 11. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew what it was wrong. He was hurting people on purpose. And in this most disgusting way. He was grown. He was 18. He should have been charged legally as a grown man. Yes, he should have. Yes, he should have. This is BS. Yes, his family obviously has connections.
Those that are younger are more likely to make mistakes and need to learn from those mistakes, as opposed to somebody who's, let's say, in their mid-20s or maybe in their 30s, or that's an adult that we expect them to behave in a certain way. And there's, maybe not laws that are written in a formula, but I think when considering what a person's punishment ought to be, somebody's age and experience has always been taken into account.
In this particular case, this was a no contest plea. So this was a deal that was reached between the defense and the prosecution. For you as a judge, just when these cases go through, and what is your role in this? Because I think for there to be in a case like this where there is going to be criticism, and that's just the way it is, and I know with your job that there's always going to be criticism of the system in these types of cases. What is the job of a judge? What are you looking for if a prosecutor and a defense attorney come to you and say, we've reached this agreement that youthful offender status is what we're going to move forward with?
Well, the job of a judge really is to make sure that all of the processes are followed to a T, and that everybody, both sides, I say everybody, both sides has availed themselves to the opportunities under the law to be prepared and to have what they need in order to be prepared. So you're really at that point sort of an umpire that's just making sure that all the boxes have been checked. We do have the discretion and the ability to reject a plea, and if we reject a plea, then we don't get to just put our own stamp on it and say, I reject the plea and I'm going to sentence you to 50 years. Essentially what the rejection of a plea does is it takes everybody to square one and puts it on the trial docket. But that is an extraordinary remedy. And so what you're looking for at the plea is what information has led both sides to come to this agreement. And the judge has the ability, if they want to seek out that information. And because we do have the ability to say, no, we're not going to accept it. It's unjust or it's unfair or the process hasn't been followed.
And in this case, Butler could have received, if the maximum, if he had gone to trial all the way through, the maximum would have been roughly 70 years in prison. Instead, through this youthful offender status, he is going to have a treatment plan that he has to go through with different requirements that he's going to have to meet. But you look at what he was accused of in this case, and it's very difficult to read through. It was violent. What are some of the factors that a prosecutor and the defense attorney you're working with, when determining that youthful offender status is a good resolution for this, how does maybe violent tendencies, the threat of maybe reoffending, how does that go into whether or not this person would be a good candidate for this, as opposed to what could have been, the good majority of his life in prison?
Yeah, you're looking at a prediction of what you think might happen in the future, essentially. That's one component of assessing punishment or an outcome in a criminal case. And one of the ideas is that somebody's history will indicate how they're going to act in the future. And so when you're saying, okay, does this person deserve more, a lighter sentence or rehabilitation, you're asking yourself first, can they be rehabilitated?
No, he can't be rehabilitated. You let him get away with a big crime. Of course he's not going to be rehabilitated. I'm going to put the kibosh on this a-hole. And I'm going to tell you guys straight up, fathers, make sure that you're in your kids' lives so this won't happen to them. Make sure that you're in your kids' lives, especially those of you that have daughters. Make sure you're in their lives. So if your daughter knows that she's safe to come to you to tell her that a boy is beating on her, a boy is not treating her correctly, a boy is putting his hands in places that his hands don't belong, so you can moth. You feel me? I'm not standing for this anymore. All that passive stuff needs to go. Fathers need to be fathers. Men, step up. Stop this garbage from happening to your loved ones. You can stop it. You can end it. Just like I'm going to end this conversation about this guy, and we're going to move on to the next weirdo. Let's go.
It's September 6th, 2019. Surveillance cameras capture 48-year-old Brian Smith and his date, Valerie Kasler, arriving at a local shop in Anchorage, Alaska. From the outside, everything looks normal. But what Valerie doesn't realize, Brian is a serial killer. And in the back of his truck lies the body of his latest victim, murdered just a day earlier. Once Brian goes inside to buy drinks, Valerie is left alone in the truck. In that moment, she reaches down and accidentally picks up Brian's phone. She doesn't know it yet, but the footage she'll find on that phone will reveal multiple murder recordings and lead cops to one of the most disturbing serial killers the state of Alaska has ever seen.
You'll die. Sadly, in my movies, everyone dies.
6 hours earlier, 48-year-old Brian Smith is relaxing at home after a long day at work. After having a glass of whiskey, he decides to go for a late-night drive through Anchorage. Behind the car's grocery store at Gamble Street and East 13th Avenue, he spots a woman standing near the road, 52-year-old Valerie Kassler. Brian pulls over and asks if she'd like to join him for a ride.
And he pulls up, and I was homeless, living in tent, and it was raining that night. And then he goes, well, it's raining. Do you want to ride around with me? And I was like, sure.
For the next few hours, they enjoy each other's company, even stopping by an airport to watch planes take off into the night sky. Around 2 a.m., Brian pulls into a local gas station to use the ATM. He heads inside, leaving Valerie alone in the car. While waiting, she accidentally drops her phone onto the floor.
And when I reached down, I grabbed 2 phones. And you get like that chill feeling, Something was not right.
She takes his phone and slips it into her pocket, unaware that it isn't hers. Meanwhile, Brian can be seen inside the store, buying snacks and drinks. For the next few hours, the two spend more time together. Later, when Valerie returns to her tent, she reaches into her pocket and pulls out the phone. At first, she notices unfamiliar contacts and numbers. And then it hits her. This isn't her phone. As she scrolls through it, she finds a folder called Homicide Marriott Hotel Midtown Anchorage. What she sees next can only be described as utterly horrifying.
Do people think the total done? There's 120,000 years of evolution haven't been done. Secure your $20 out of the car and get up your somewhere.
Valerie can't believe what she's seeing. She scrolls further through the folder, finding dozens of photos and videos, each disturbingly similar to the one she just watched.
His voice and her body laying on the floor of the hotel. And he stepped on her throat and he said, you're not leaving here alive. I'm killing you.
After watching everything, she begins to realize that she may have just hung out with a serial killer. For the next few days, she retreats into the woods and refuses to leave her tent. Paranoia takes over. At any moment, Brian could discover that she knows his secret, and the next video might be about her. Ultimately, after days of hiding, she decides to hand the footage from the SD card over to the police.
It was the hardest thing I've ever had to watch in my life, not just being as a police officer. This was the worst thing I've ever seen happen to a human being.
In the following days, detectives review the footage over and over again. One of them recognizes something familiar, the distinctive tone and accent of the man's voice. It reminds him of a suspect from a previous case he once worked on. That man's name was Brian Stephen Smith. Using the footage as their lead, investigators soon uncover a horrifying truth.
Human remains found at mile 108 of the Seward Highway a week ago belonged to a woman who had long dark hair.
The body is identified as 30-year-old Kathleen Jo Henry. With a prime suspect now in sight, it's only a matter of time before police can link Brian to the murders. The FBI soon joins the investigation, and what they uncover directly connects Brian to the woman found dead.
The FBI told us, hey, his phone is hitting off a tower near mile.
Look, again, this is another situation where somebody who was caught gets away. They have the same thing in common every single time, guys.
108, the Seward Highway. And also, there was a timestamp on one of the images with Kathleen Jo Henry in the back of the pickup truck. And that was also like an aha moment, because his phone's hitting here at this time, this image is at this time, and it's at the location where the remains were found.
Now, detectives finally have probable cause to charge Brian. But there's one problem: he isn't even in the state. At the time, he's on vacation with his wife in Washington, D.C. To ensure he doesn't flee, officers are stationed at the airport. The moment his plane lands back in Alaska, Brian is taken into custody and brought straight to the police station.
How you doing?
Mr. Smith, I'm Detective Lee, the Anchorage Police Department. I just want to show you my badge, my IDs. This is Detective Bell, my partner. We have some matters we want to clear up with you to talk to you today, so I appreciate you coming up here with these guys and talking to me. Obviously, we're here at the airport. They brought you up here to talk to me, so we have some kind of a formality to get by. I have to read you what's called a Miranda warning. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
The detectives catch him off guard. He has no idea what this is about, but assumes it might.
Again, this is not a situation of where you have a suspect that you don't have evidence on. They have all the evidence they need at this point. They are once again being way too nice to someone who it's an open and shut case. They are something else. Soft Rain said, what's up, Skull? What's up, Mama V? How y'all doing? That's right, Big Skull. Mama V in the house. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing today?
Be related to when his truck was broken into a few months earlier and his documents were stolen.
I don't know when exactly they broke the window, but they, I got a phone call from one of the guys at work that said my window's broken. So as I'm down there looking at this, the messages start coming through on my phone. You know, your transaction at Lowe's for $500 and something has been accepted. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, the little GoPro you said that was taken. What stands out about it? How does it? I'm not familiar with GoPros. How do they record memory into the camera, or do they record on something else, or how does that work?
Oh, no, yeah, it's got a little SD card on it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Like I said, we have some matters we need to clear up, and the thing we need to talk about is recently some property was brought to ABD And I was given that property as a little SD card. And I watched that SD card and I looked at it, and that's what I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
So what can you tell me? Because you mentioned the SD card and the GoPro camera. So what can you tell me about that?
Well,
he said, "Hola, Uncle Plug."
usually everything I record is stuff from my trips when I go out camping. That's why I got a GoPro. It's got a very high frame rate. So I'm trying to capture. If you ever look on YouTube, you'll see the guy shooting through like latex or through bottles or something, and you can see the bullet going through.
Shooting a bullet?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Brian often records his outdoor adventures, whether he's hiking, fishing, or camping. Filming is one of his favorite hobbies, and he even owns a drone to capture the scenery from above. But this time, the detectives aren't interested in his videos, and soon, Brian will understand why he was brought to the station.
So like I said, it's about that SD card. I wanted to kind of just see if this will refresh a memory here for you. That there, and that's it right there on top of that.
I've seen those. I've got 1 or 2 of those. You get those at Walmart.
Okay. And now is that one like the one you're missing? Because you said you're missing one out of the GoPro.
No, well, the whole GoPro's gone.
Oh, the whole GoPro's gone. Yeah. But was that the type of card that might have been in that GoPro when it was gone?
No.
Okay.
I've got one of these I've been using for my 3D printer.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I've got these green ones. The other one's all black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and so like I said, this was brought to APD and given to me. And like I said, I viewed the images and the videos on that SD card.
Yeah.
And that's obviously that's how I got to you. That's how I figured out who you are.
Okay.
And that's what we need to clear up that matter of what's on that SD card.
Okay. What's on the card?
Right off the bat, detectives don't reveal what they already know. Instead, they show Brian photos of a car that matches his. They also ask about a hotel room he rented for 2 nights. Brian admits he had picked up a woman from the street and taken her there. That's when detectives bring out the photos of the deceased woman, the same one seen on the SD card footage from the hotel room.
I just wanted to show you this picture, see if it would help you kind of refresh the girl from that night.
No, that's not it.
Not her?
Just short hair.
Short hair, okay.
Short hair, no.
Okay, all right.
She looks like a drug addict.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen this woman before?
No.
Have you ever had any contact with her at all?
No. I have. Look, in the last 5 years that I've been here, probably starting about 2 years ago, I've probably gone out and picked up a girl or 2. So I might have seen her before, but not fresh in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I told you on there that how I found you is like you saw your truck. Is that?
That's my truck.
That's your truck.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else? And I'm going to step out here in a minute, let you take a break and some water. Is there anything else about that evening that we haven't talked about that you want me to know about, or you think we should talk about?
No.
At this point, the detectives step out of the room for a few minutes. They need to discuss their strategy, and perhaps observe how he reacts when left alone. When they return, they confront him with the footage from the SD card.
What you seemed curious about what was on you. What you were asking me to show you what's on the SD card. I don't have it here to show you exactly what's on there, but I wanted to talk about it. And like I said to you a minute ago, the images led me to you.
Look, what he wanted a live audience for his nasty, disgusting, depraved self. He wanted a live audience. I see I lost some of y'all on this because it's nasty and it's disgusting, but that's fine. I see y'all come back again whenever y'all come back. You know, this is something that we can't ignore. I just don't understand why they're treating him like this when they could just arrest his ass. They don't even need a confession because they have the videos. You don't need a confession when you have all the videos.
Images on there that led me to you for multiple reasons. The truck, like I said, I knew that was your truck. You're saying that's your truck in the photographs. There's pictures of the Marriott. There's pictures of the Marriott, the hotel room on the GoPro, or excuse me, on that SD card. And that's how I knew it was that Marriott. It was the Midtown Marriott.
Okay.
And the pictures, I don't know, you probably know about this. I think you're into technology and stuff. Photographs, they have a time and date stamp. So the photographs are time and date stamp. So they basically, the photographs time and date stamp matched at the time that you were at that hotel room.
Okay.
So that's how this SD card has led me to you.
Okay.
And like I said, there's a number of images on there, and there's a number of videos on there. I brought some of the pictures to kind of go over with you about that. So this is one of the images on there. Part of it is kind of cut down a little bit, but can you tell me what's in that photo?
There's somebody's feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whose feet are those?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm looking at your shoes. I mean, it looks like the shoes you're wearing right now.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Okay. Is it safe to say those are
Literally wearing the same shoes. The same shoes.
your feet in that picture?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not the only person that's got shoes like this.
Okay.
I did recently buy these. I can't tell you when.
Okay, you can't tell me how long have you had them?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Where'd you buy them from?
These I would have got at Fred Meyer.
Okay. Okay. All right. I just want to show you some other images here. And like I said, I've watched the videos and the images on there, and I've watched them multiple times, and that's why we're here. That's how I knew to talk to you. So these are just some of the other images on there.
Okay.
These are on the SD card.
Okay.
So what can you tell me about these photos?
This looks like someone that's already been beaten up a bit.
Okay. And these are images. These are images, but there's also videos of this person.
Yeah.
And another person in the room as well. And that's why we're here to talk to you about.
How many people in the room?
At least 2.
Yeah.
So we need to address this. We need to clear this up. Mr. Smith.
At this moment, the atmosphere in the room shifts. Brian realizes he's been caught. Still, he tries to deny it, insisting that the person in the footage couldn't possibly be him.
You think I hit this girl?
Well, like I said, there's videos of it. There's video of it, there's audio of it, there's a voice that's, I've been talking to you now for almost 30, 40 minutes, and I know it was your voice I could hear in the video.
Okay.
And if you'd like to hear some of that, I can refresh your memory with it.
The same pictures are on the SD card with your truck that you said was your truck.
Yeah, these are all on the same as your truck here. So.
It sounds like me. What's happening when it's...
What's happening is on this video, on these images, the person that's recording it is holding the recorder and is standing basically above this girl and strangling her.
Okay.
And so we need to talk about this. We need to get ahead of this, Mr. Smith.
I don't want to stupid, but I don't remember anything of it. I don't remember anything.
Okay.
When I landed, when they stopped me, I was already, in the legal terms of the words I use, in a weakened state of mind. For an hour and a half, I said, I didn't do that, I didn't do that, I didn't do that. Over and over and over. In ad nauseum, I said that.
Brian is shown photographs of a brutally beaten Kathleen. The images and videos are time-stamped September 4th, the same day the Marriott Hotel's records show him renting room 323. Just a day later, he went out for a late-night drive around Anchorage, where he picked up Valerie. She had no idea she was spending time with a serial killer who had murdered someone less than 24 hours earlier. In a matter of minutes, detectives have laid out a mountain of evidence connecting Brian to the footage recovered from the SD card. Yet, he continues to insist that he doesn't remember any of it.
So what you're saying is definitely you talking on the recording, on the audio there, that you don't recall that?
That sounds like my voice. I've got a unique voice.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
It's English mixed with the Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is crazy. So now what you can see live is you can see that he is actively trying to create a new storyline because he realizes that he's been caught. He realizes that he's caught. So he's trying to create an active storyline that they can follow to either somehow let him out of this so that he can go and do it again. They have all the evidence they need against this guy. They shouldn't even be asking him questions, to be honest, because they're only going to muddy the whole story, which is why he tried to talk about, oh, well, you know, they asked for an hour and 30 minutes. I denied it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sicko.
And you talking, and like I said, there's about 12 of these videos, and I watched every single one of them multiple times, unfortunately. And you talking, you know what you're doing in those videos. I mean, you're describing what's going on in those videos. And so, Mr. Smith, I don't believe that you don't remember this happening. And like I said, we need to talk. We need to get ahead of this because this is pretty big here.
Yeah, but this is not the good.
Okay, that's definitely your voice on these audios, and I have no doubt about it. Like I said, I mean, your shoes are in the picture, your truck's in the picture, a Marriott cart, as you pointed out, is in the picture. And then I can also point to this to you. This is the SD card file, and put the fourth one down, what the name of that file is. Homicide, Marriott Hotel, Midtown, Anchorage. And this was modified on September 24th, 20 days later.
I did not do that. Why would I make a file of it?
Detectives also obtain his phone records, which clearly outline his movements over the past few months. 2 days after the murder, the data places his phone along the Seward Highway near Indian Valley, about 30 minutes from Anchorage. It's the exact area where the remains of Kathleen Jo Henry were later discovered. Surveillance cameras at the nearby way station also capture his truck traveling in that direction.
What are those?
I don't remember anything else. Really, I'm sorry.
I think you do remember, Mr. Smith. And like I said, we need to talk about it because right now, this right here is a small portion of this investigation, but this is just a small part of a very large investigation, and we're talking to people. We're talking to your wife, okay?
When have you spoken to her?
We're talking to her right now. Right now. And like I said, this is I mean, this is going to hit the news, and this might be your one chance to talk to give your side of it, to give your story. And that's why I'm here to talk to you today. I didn't have to come here and talk to you. I could have just had him take you. But I wanted to give you that opportunity to explain this because we got the evidence. We know you were out there. Your phone shows you were out there.
It wasn't showing it, yeah.
So we need to talk about it. We need to address it.
Realizing there's no easy way out, he offers to tell the detectives the truth.
Yeah, well, look, this sounds very serious, no matter what I'm going to be in deep. So, okay, I'll tell you what I remember. The next day at work, I saw something dropping out the back of my truck. I was like, what? And I opened up, and there was somebody there underneath. So there was blue, like a tarp at the back of my truck. And so the back flap doesn't really lock. I've actually put a padlock on now since then. And I saw somebody, and I was like, what must I do? And because I've been out before, I thought, you know, who's going to believe me? You know, it's like the guy that gets stopped and he's got drugs in his pocket, and it's like, it's not mine, you know. That's the way I was feeling, you know. No one's going to believe me. So I was thinking for a long time, what must I do? And then the one night I thought, well, I've got to get rid of this. I can't. And I drove out, and I did. Went and dumped it.
What was in the back of my truck was not Kathleen Henry. When I said to the police the body, It's because the police had told me that there was a body in the back of my truck. I did not know what was in the back of my truck. It was not a body. It was, I've seen a YouTube once of a bear cub that was skinned, and it looked, in my mind,
Billy? How you doing,
X-ray
man?
vision through
Good
that.
to see you.
That's what it could have been. Or it was a mannequin.
This could explain why the phone tower placed him there, but it doesn't account for all the other evidence stacked against him. The footage, the voice captured in it, and the fact that he rented a hotel room with the victim. His story simply doesn't add up, and the detectives call him out on it.
Why didn't you, when you saw it dripping out of the back of your truck, and
I was scared.
if you didn't remember what happened, why didn't you call somebody and say, hey, there's somebody in the back of my truck?
Well, that's the thing. Who would believe me? It's like I said. It's like the guy walking around. Police found drugs in his pocket. You know, like, and he says, no, it's not mine. And everybody says, oh, yes, we believe you. You know, it's the same thing. Who would have believed me that I found something in the back of my truck? I don't remember.
So you're admitting that you were at the hotel. That's your stuff.
Thanks,
That's your
Dude.
point. And you admit that you took the body up there and dumped the body, right? So why would there be photographs of her in the back of your truck at the dump site, which you admit to doing? Oh, on the same SD card, listen to me.
Okay.
On the same SD card that has all these photos on it and videos of you killing her. So tell me how a body can be found in the back of your truck randomly while you're at work, because you want us to believe somebody else put that body in there. And then you just happen to drive it out there, and there's photographs.
On the same SD card?
On the same SD card of this woman in the back of your truck with the sheets that are on that card.
What the footage captures is deeply disturbing. Due to its violent nature, we will only play the audio. Viewer discretion is advised.
You know, the angle of the action shot. You live, you die, you live, you die, you live, you die. Sadly, in my movies, everyone dies. I get the Oscar. Goes once for yes, goes twice for never. Oh, geez, there was maybe it was 2 gasps. But you're resisting me. Okay. So here's the throat, here's the hair, here's the string I've got. Oh, we got string now. Okay, I'm gonna put the string on here. Yeah, we'll toss it rust. Did you find if you guys didn't talk and die these days, 102,000 years of evolution, you haven't been to die. Huh? Look at how what do you come on? What a wish to go through. That's all you got. Come on, just take off the team. Huh? Take it for the team. Take it for the team. So, I know this is like a way, but swallow it. Just fucking swallow it. You carry your 20 miles out of a car and go dump your somewhere, huh? You just up my entire team. Just finish, please. I'm tired. I need to go on the straight and narrow.
These audio recordings are deeply disturbing, to say the least. Throughout the entire interview, Brian repeatedly insists he can't remember committing these acts. Interestingly, he recalls taking photos of the women who survived, but when it comes to the one who was murdered, his memory conveniently fails him. Another point investigators raised during the interview is his internet search history during the trip.
While you were on your trip, another thing that you were looking up is basically making a confession to the police on your deathbed. Something you Googled, something you were searching. Can you tell me about that?
I did not do that.
Well, it was in your search history on your Google.
I did not search making a confession on my deathbed. I did not do that.
Anybody else have your phone while you were gone?
No. My wife and myself were together. She doesn't know how to use a phone at all. No, I did not Google it. Whoever told you that is telling you a lie. Or, if you search something, there's sometimes a result of stuff, and you don't know what the result is. But I would never search about anything like that. And if I log into your computer now with my Gmail account, and I type anything in there, it'll show me everything I've ever Googled. So I can prove it to you right now.
With each answer he gives, the web of lies grows thicker. Gradually, he begins to concede that he might have done it, but he just can't remember. Then the detectives bring out a USB stick containing the footage. They play it in front of him, watching closely for his reaction.
I just cannot understand why I would do something like this. And that's what your question is. Why would I do that?
I mean, we know you did it. You know you did it. We're just looking for, and there may not be a why that you think is reasonable, right?
Yeah.
But there is a why as to what happened. We might not know why it happened, but you know what happened. You're gonna see what happened. You're gonna see what you did.
I just don't know why would I get angry like that?
Just you're not angry.
Yeah. So you said
no, you're very calculated. You're narrating it.
Why would I say I've got an audience?
I'm not saying that you have an audience, but you're clearly talking to. You're not just talking to her. You're narrating this, and it's because of whatever fantasy it is that you have.
I mean, there's also a high possibility that he's a part of some underground ring of people who do weird stuff like this and people who pay people like him to do stuff like this. Allegedly.
Your mind. Whether you're going to share this with other people or you intended on it, I don't know. But you certainly intended on viewing it yourself. And you're clearly exerting power over this person.
It's God.
Why don't you stop first? What do you think up until that point?
That girl's dying. It's my hands. It's small.
It's not going to be very hard to figure out. Like I said, this is a when this gets on a 55-inch TV.
Yeah, there's no voice in this one.
That's TV back there.
Yep.
Hotel room, people.
Yeah. She's alive there.
Yeah, there.
That's my voice.
Sorry now. My hands are tired. Just.
I don't talk like that.
Just Bradley Phillips does, or whoever that is then.
No, Bradley's a naughty person. Bradley's a naughty person.
Brad appears genuinely shocked by what he's seeing. Earlier in the interview, detectives asked whether he had multiple Facebook accounts. He admitted to having one under the name Bradley, which he described as his alter ego. According to Brad, this persona would post racist jokes and act cruel online. He seems to suggest that this alter ego might be responsible for the murder, but detectives aren't buying it. To them, Brad...
This is that type of stuff that people do when they go online and they troll people for fun every single day.
Brad isn't suffering from a split personality. He's simply a disturbed man who knew exactly what he was doing.
I think Brian Steve Smith is a person that I'd say he's a sociopath. You know, if you looked at his life, he would just look like your normal everyday. You know, I go to work, I come home, this is my wife, we go on vacations, and I play with drones and like to shoot guns for my hobbies.
So far, detectives have succeeded in making Brian grasp the gravity of his situation. They have a mountain of evidence stacked against him. Although the footage he left behind on the SD card appears amateurish, it reveals someone who takes pleasure in inflicting pain on others. The body was also dumped just 30 minutes from his home, another careless amateur mistake. Once the interview concludes, detectives plan to examine his truck, searching for any trace of the victim's DNA.
You know, because the video that we watched, frankly, it doesn't look like an amateur. Everything else does. But it doesn't look like the person in that video. It doesn't look like it's the first time they've killed somebody. You're enjoying yourself, killing her.
So if there's something else we need to talk about, now would be the time to do it. The one thing I wanted to ask you is your truck, did you ever wash it out, spray it out, anything like that?
After she killed the body. Are we going to find biological evidence in your truck? Did you bleach it? Did you wash it?
At the back, I had a piece of carpeting at the back, and there was a bit of blood on it. So I cut that piece of carpet out, and I tossed it in the dumpster, and I did spray bleach on there to try and kill the germs and whatever. That was a wise thing to do, and like everything else. So yeah, so you'll see the back of my truck, it's cut. You know.
With that, the detectives conclude the interview. They gather their notes, present the charges to Brian, and prepare to take him to jail. But just then, Brian drops what might be the biggest bombshell of the entire interrogation.
Okay.
Are you guys in a rush to go home?
Are we in a rush?
Yeah.
You want to talk some more?
We're not in a rush. We got all night. I have 2 days.
I saw your ears do that.
You know what? I mean, that's what we do. We love to talk.
Some time ago, I can't remember when, I picked up a very drunk girl. My wife was gone. She was away for the weekend. I took her home. And I shot her. And I know you guys are doing good cop, bad cop. I know I'm going to burn already, so, and I don't want you to waste your time.
We appreciate that.
But yeah, so I shot this girl, and then I went and dumped her out on that little side road going towards Butte. When you turn off the house.
By the including the power plant?
Yeah, around about that area now. You must have found her.
You may have. How long ago was that about?
Oh my God, 3 years ago.
From denying the murder to suddenly confessing to shooting a woman in an unrelated case, Brian's story takes a disturbing turn. He tells detectives that a few years earlier, he had picked up a woman from the street, offering her a warm meal and a place to sleep for the night. According to Brian, she was already heavily intoxicated. With his wife out of town, he brought her home, where she soon fell asleep on the couch in front of the TV. But then, something about her, he says, set him off.
She was smelling. I knew she was homeless then. You know, she was stinking. And I was getting upset, and I said to her, go take a shower. You know, because now there's smell in the house. You know, Stephanie would smell like there was a homeless person in the house. And she wouldn't do it. She kept saying, no. And I was worried that she's going to vomit now, because then I realized that she really had been drinking a lot. No excuse, but I'd also been drinking a hell of a lot. Like I said, when Stephanie goes that that's Brian time, or you call it Brad time. I went to the garage and I got my little pistol there. And I said to go to the go shower, and she wouldn't. And I just did it. And I
while she was on the couch?
Yeah, I just shot it. There was no... The messed up thing, I can tell you honestly, there was no emotion out. It was just... You're not...
And had shown her a disturbing video of a dead woman. At first, Alicia had genuine feelings for him, but after seeing that footage, everything changed. She became convinced the video was real and wanted Brian to be held accountable for what he had done.
He's going in her, and then you draw his hand out, and he's holding the Velcro, and then he bites his hands on her leg. The pictures are her breast, and he's grabbing them so hard that the blood is pooling. Y'all don't know what I'm doing to get this information. I'm doing all kinds of crazy sexual acts with him to get this information out of him and having him pretend to like it.
Trying to get information out of him, she did everything she could to keep him satisfied, but after a while, she couldn't take it anymore.
I can't do this anymore. He's getting more wild.
Back in the interview room, Brian seems to have finally accepted his fate.
All I can tell you is that there's something wrong with me. I mean, obviously it's the second half, so there's something wrong with me, and that's why I did it. You know that.
So you're struggling with that internally. You believe that there's something wrong with you that you could do this, and so you're struggling with.
No, this is not normal behavior. This, you know.
The interview ends shortly after. Following it, detectives compare Smith's account with an earlier discovery. Back in April 2019, two men foraging for chaga mushrooms had stumbled upon a human skull off the Old Glen Highway near the Eklutna Tail Race. The skull bore a gunshot wound, and dental records later confirmed the remains belonged to Veronica R. Abichuk. Search warrants also produce additional corroboration. Photos and evidence from Smith's home and truck, including nylon cord, latex gloves, and 2 homemade suppressors, are stacked to a mountain of already gathered evidence. Although he already confessed to shooting Veronica during a TV interview from jail, he changes his statement.
The person that I shot was a fictitious event. It was not Veronica. Veronica, if that lady was Veronica, that woman walked out of my house, Alicia and her got in a vehicle and they drove away. The story I told them was a story that Alicia and I had made up about driving around, you meet someone and take them home, they make you angry and you shoot them.
Brian also tells the interviewer that the interrogation wasn't fair, claiming he was in a weak state of mind due to the traveling.
No, you must remember that interrogation was done under duress. I was in a weakened state of mind. It made sense to me there that I need to cover all my tracks. Alicia might have told them that story, and I don't tell them and they think I'm lying.
5 years after the murder of Kathleen Jo Henry and Brian's confession to the murder of Veronica Abichuk, the case finally goes to trial. Alicia Youngblood, Brian's former mistress and the woman who secretly alerted Anchorage police after he showed her the disturbing video, had already left Alaska before the proceedings began. Sadly, she never got the chance to testify against him. After about 2 hours of deliberations on February 22nd, 2024, an Anchorage jury finds Smith guilty on all 14 counts, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, second-degree sexual assault, tampering with evidence, and misconduct involving a corpse. On July 12, 2024, a judge sentences him to 226 years in prison. With the trial now over, one question still remains. Did Brian have more victims in Anchorage? He had also moved to Alaska in 2014 after previously living in South Africa, where Alicia claimed he may have had other victims.
He told me one of his victims was as young as 15, where he's from. I think 15 was the youngest.
Okay.
But, on the other hand, we don't know. We do not know, really.
I didn't do anything.
That is terrible, man. Like, once again, we have the people being left at bay by the justice system, and these creeps will be able to do this. She said the officers are truly not trying to solve anything. Mama V says it's wild how often most SK are married. Yeah, they have families. Like, it's terrible. Look, guys, it's been quite the morning, and this is really heavy on us. And you know, I'm gonna let you guys know this is rough today. These types of creeps are running around, and y'all need to do everything within your power to make sure that they don't get a hold of you. If you're a woman, don't be around strange men. The minute that a man shows you something that's strange, like, and like, I'm not talking about just a guy that likes you or just a guy that likes to be in you. I mean weird stuff. You know what I mean? You start seeing weird stuff out of a guy, you need to run. You need to get out of there. You need to tell somebody. Tell the closest male friend that you have. Hopefully you got a male friend that will understand where you're coming from. If your kids tell you, listen to your kids. Your kids are not making this up and they're not lying. Listen to your kids. Try to investigate it. You know, if there's no signs of anything crazy, then okay. But if there is signs of something crazy, like somebody put their hands on them, actually put their hands on them, you need to report it. I'm just saying. It's been a wild 24. I'm 24. I am Tez. This has been the Tez Down. We just test down a whole bunch of garbage and garbage ass people. And I really hope that you guys can make sure that your families are safe. Make sure your families are safe. And make sure these types of creeps are locked up. Stop skipping jury duty. This is how people get locked up. When sensible people find them guilty for the charges that they committed. This is terrible, man. He was preying on brown people in Alaska. It's a mess. Everywhere, all over. Alaska, South Africa, and the man still has a chance. They're still putting cameras on the guy. Don't let him say nothing. Don't let him say anything. I appreciate all of you guys in here today. Hopefully some of you guys that have been watching will start liking and subscribing and, coming back. Make sure you guys check out the Raw Society Collective on YouTube and on Instagram. That's RSC on YouTube and then it's Instagram, the Raw Society Collective. And we got some upcoming things that you guys will be interested in. Until next time, in the next 24, this has been True Crime Monday on the Tez Down, Sports Unscripted, Culture Unfiltered. Thank you guys. I appreciate all of you.